Welcome to another video from Dr. Locke. So in this video here we're going to actually go through all the immobilizer menus and lists. We've already done a video on all the other buttons. We've already done a video on the outside, the inside, poking and prodding it. So what we're going to do is, if there is a particular car and make that you're interested in, I'm going to leave in the description. I'm going to break it all down to the actual category and make, so that way you can actually find it a lot quicker. Alright, so we're going to start off at the top at A and work our way all the way down through. And if you want to skip ahead, just look in the description, you'll see what time, and then just skip to that particular time for the model that you're interested in. Now this one here is an Australian version, but on saying that too, it does have all the other software on it as well. And I'll quickly show you what I mean. If I select filter here, and I'm going to go all regions. So now it's going to have all the regions on there, so that way other people around the world can kind of see it. Now there's this is the general layout. Here we do have this toggle up the top. This is the thumbnails, and this is the listed version, as you can see there. Alright, so we don't want to drag this on too long, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one, show you, and then you can read the screen. So the first one is this one with the scorpion, which I've never seen. Abarth, which I'm probably saying wrong. That one there. That's the models. It has one in Australia and the rest are in Europe. That was an easy one. Acura. So Asia, a lot of US there. US and Canada. That's the bottom of the screen. Also we can flick here, and this is the immobilizer types. And that's the bottom of the screen. Alfa Romeo. So these are the models. Asia, Australia. That's the bottom of the screen. Just pick one just to show you. Europe, that gives you all the information. Photos. Not all of them do have photos and things. Let's go by system now. Flick this one off here. Can we do that? Yep, there we go. Systems. Oh, pin code reading, interesting. Okay, Audi. So there's a lot of Australia listed there. Well, I guess Australia starts with an A, so it's probably up the top. But there should be some different districts there too. There we go, Europe. Now, even though this is an Australian machine, I'm not too sure if it will work on the European settings or not. At the end we'll try one. So I'm basically just scrolling up only the page minus one or two. That's it. So we're in Australia, so let's see if South America works. Looks like it will work. So that's interesting. I wonder if I could have bought American machine. Wouldn't have got any support or anything, but it's interesting. Okay, immobilizer by system. So there's a lot of read pin functions in there. I just did a Citroen. I didn't think it had the read pin function, so I'm going to go through when we get to Citroen and actually have a look and see if that is in there. Is that where the add-ons are? Is that where the pin reading functions live? Of course, you've got to know which system type and things, but you can get that by connecting. You can identify. Geez, there's a lot of read pin in there. This is all for Audi. Quite a lot of different makes and models. Or just systems. There's a lot of systems in there. This is still Audi systems. I think we're down the bottom there. Special function VAG SRS. Right down the bottom. Okay. It's Audi out of the way. Bentley. This should be a short one. Oh, it's quite a bit of Bentley actually. It's more than some of the other tools I've seen. And there's the immobilizer system types. Yeah, some of the other systems I see they've only got one or two. Alright, BMW, this was interesting to me because there was quite a number of BMWs that it can do. So earliest model there's 2004 up to 2011. Three series, 1 series, 5 series. And there, M3 Coupe, M5, Series 1. And that's it. So I wonder if it can do an X5. Series 1. I guess that would be Series 5, wouldn't it? Series 5 Estate. E51. No. E52, I forget. Okay, so that's BMW. Let's look at the systems. CAS 3, CAS 3 CAN, EWS 3, remote. So it does the remote, not the immobilizer. Okay. Remote. So they're the ones that can do it, the actual immobilizer. That's what I was thinking, that there's always one that's done by EEPROM, but okay. Buick. Sorry, don't want to lose you there. So I'm basically just scrolling up the page. So now the top of the page is there. Just give you enough seconds just to read down so you can find the one you're looking for. Buick being an American car, looks like there's plenty of different versions of that. Proxy, Blade, and that's it. It's bottom of the page. Okay, system. Force ignition, immobilizer. So type 1, type 2, it can force the ignition. Lots of immobilizers there, even the GTO, which I believe is our Commodore. Immobilizer, token, okay. Looks like it goes all the way up to type 13. Type 8, type 9. Now we've got read pin and then an engine size, 1.2 cylinder, read pin 1.6, 1.8, 2 litre, all the way down to 6.2 litre V8. It's a big V8. BCM, read BCM. So different computers. Here's some proximity settings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all procs. Now remote types. Remote 1 all the way to 15, I believe. You can see 1, 10, 11, 12. Oh, nope, goes up to 19, type 19. So Buick type 19 remote control, or type 20, it can do. Oh, it goes further than that, 21. So in the US, they'd probably know these settings a lot better than we do here, because we don't have Buick, and they would know which remote is which. Okay, that's Buick out of the way. Cadillac. Yeah, so hopefully the screen's showing up quite well. There is like a couple of hairs underneath the plastic film that came on my machine. Brand new, but I don't know why it's like that. But I am using a higher resolution camera, and I am shooting in the dark to allow you to read these menus, so hopefully they're showing up nice and clearly on your screen. And you should be able to zoom in or enlarge on the screen if need be. So Cadillac. Once again, there's a lot of Cadillac. Is that it? That's it. Alright, system. We've got a force ignition, type 1, type 2, immobilizer. We've got a GTO here as well. These look very similar to the other systems. Very similar. I swear we've just seen this on the Buick menu. So that's all the remotes up to type 21. Okay, let's Cadillac out of the way. Okay, Changan. I'd be saying that wrong. Okay, only 2 types. OBD. Nope, no system there. You got to go by the make. Cherry. Oh, only 1 cherry. It's not much cherry at all. No systems. And only 1 cherry. Chevrolet. Now this one's probably going to have a fair few in it. Oh. Operator error. Let's go back. So just showing you every make and model. On the left you've got the region, model, start and end date when it's manufactured, the type of fuel the car takes, engine is listed down here, and of course the chassis. Obviously that would be some sort of chassis numbers, prefix of them also. So obviously this is quite an in-depth machine, especially for the US markets. One of the reasons we got this particular machine is because it is in-depth for the Australian markets too, and it's one of the few machines that has all that it kind of can have. So as a backup or as a last resort, this machine kind of is what it is. A lot of technology and all went into making it. This new platform is pretty cool as well. It's definitely a lot better than the MVP 2 colours. The help files and things are quite good. The tips, reading it on screen, pin required or not. Can it read the pin? Will it automatically give you the pin? Those kind of questions are the first things you want to know when you're doing something new, and it does show it on screen. So as you can see there, pin required. Can it do remotes? Will it automatically give you the pin? Blah blah blah. We're getting there. We're in Asia now. Now we're over in Europe. Once again, if there's a particular car you're after, just scroll down to the description and I'll list each and every car there so you can skip to the one you need. Yep, I'll keep going into the actual car. Sorry, kind of blew out there a bit. Getting close to the bottom now, must be. Right, Captiva. Yeah, we're down here. Captiva. Cruise is down the bottom. I must say, this looks to be the biggest list I've seen yet. And it just keeps going. There's another Captiva. We're in India now. Back in America. Oh, we're in Africa. Brazil. And one of the reasons why these menus are so long is because I've selected all regions. So even if you're in a different country and you'd like to know what kind of software is on it, whether or not it's got that particular make, that's why some of the menus might go forever. But at least then it gives everybody a bit of a look. If they're in Brazil or they're in the US, at least then you get a bit of a look. And it's finished. Okay, let's go through system types. These are all immobilizer type, bladed keys. Now read pin by engine size. Proximity remote. Bladed remote. This one goes up to type 21 as well. And that's it. That's all we got in Chevrolet, which is a heap of it. Chrysler. Okay, let's go through. So this is Australia, Chrysler Australia at the moment. Grand Voyager, PT Cruiser. Got a few of these getting around. Now we're in Europe, starting off at the 300, 300C. Grand Voyager, Neon, PT Cruiser. Now we're starting to go into US and Canada, starting off at the 200, 300. We're in US. Don't worry, Aaron, I remember where we were. Europe, US. We'll start the US again. So if you hold the screen too long, it'll actually go into that particular one. .300C pin bypass for proxy petrol. Sounds interesting. LHS 99 to 2000 model. It's pretty old. US, Canada and Pacific. PT, Town and Country, US, Canada, okay. FB, I can find it back on the menu again. We're down here. I'll have to start from there just in case we don't want to lose any. Town and Country. Now we're going to South America region. And Africa down the bottom. Looks like that's it. Yep. Okay, let's go over by system. This is Chrysler. CAN 1, CAN 2, CAN 3, CCD, CCDP. Read pin function. Always like those ones. Nothing worse than trying to program a car and you can't get the pin. It's a remote, plenty of different types of remotes there. And that's it. That's Chrysler. Okay, where are we off to now? We're off to Citroen. So this is basically all the software that this machine has for all the regions. I'm assuming that we've got all the regions. We've got them all ticked here. There might be some Pacific to Pacific regions that they're not actually allowing, that only certain dealers would get and allowed to be on certain regional tablets or regional Smart Pros. But on saying that, I have heard from other people that you get all the software from around the world, but I can't confirm that. So we're still in Australia at the moment. This was the one I wanted to look at to see if it had the read pin function in the system types. This is still Australia. Now we're moving over to Europe. They would probably have more Citroens than us. Good car, actually. I've had a few Citroens in my time. Not the passenger models, the light commercial models. Still in Europe. Still in Europe. C5 down to C8. C8 down to C0. C0 there. So we're still in Europe. There is a lot of Citroens over there. A lot. Looks like they got many, many more models than we do. Still in Europe. Still in Europe. Oops, sorry. Scrolled a bit too far there. Now we're in South America, starting off at C3. C2. And that's where we finish. Oh, Africa, right down the bottom. Africa, you only get one model, and that's a C2. So I hope you guys have a C2 there. Okay, systems. So these are all the immobilizer type. Programming in the keys with these immobilizer types. We want to see about reading the pin. Hopefully we'll get to that soon. Mobilizer still. So you can establish what type of mobilizer it is by establishing communications with the car, and then it will pretty much tell you. So when you get it right, you'll see it there. It'll identify what type of mobilizer it has. When you select go through the car or whatnot, or when it connects up to it, you push the mobilizer 4, it connects and talks to it, then it's mobilizer 4. It'll show you it's connected to the BCM. Alright, so read pin, here we go. Type 1, Type 2, PSA, by OBD, read pin. Type 1, Type 2, proxy, blade. Remote, special functions. Read radio can, radio. Okay, so we might be able to do the radio code too. That's interesting, because I have lost the radio code on one of my Citroens. Okay, that's Citroen out of the way. Dacia. I think that's how you say it, Dacia. So it's basically a Europe base by the look of it. Europe, looks like some South America. Oh, South America, you only have one, and that's a Duster. Dacia Duster. Okay, by system. And a read pin down the bottom there on type 1. Cool. Daewoo. Okay, Asia and Australia. Now moving into Europe. Still in Europe. Looks like they have a lot more Daewoo than us. South America, moving to South America. Looks like South America's only got 2. Middle East has a couple there, down the bottom. No, that's it. Middle East only has 4 different models. South America has 2. Europe has heaps. Okay, system types. Immobilizer 1 to 8 for bladed keys. Remote keys type 1 to 4 for bladed remote keys. That's all we got under Daewoo. Okay, Daihatsu. Starting off with Asia. Then moving on to Australia. That didn't take long. Now we're over to Europe. Looks like Australia doesn't have much at all. Europe seems to have a page and a half so far. And that's it. So no Daihatsu anywhere else, just by the look of it, Europe, Australia and Asia. Immobilizer system type 1. That's all we got there under system. Dodge. Now there has to be a lot of this in the US. It's a US product, I'm pretty sure. So we've got Asia, we've got Australia, Europe, and the Rams are now popular in Australia. They're back ordered for a year, I believe. They're being imported, converted to right-hand drive for us, and you have to order quite some time in advance to buy a Ram. Big, huge trucks. I wish they'd import the F650 Ford. I would like one of them. Be the most obnoxious person in the grocery store parking that thing. But it'd be fun to drive. So we're in Dodge, US, Canada. Still US, Canada. Uh-oh. We've just gone crazy there. Sorry, we're going to have to step back a bit. US, Canada, we're up to the Dart. Durango. A little touchy, this screen. Down to interpreted. Down to neon. Down to a Ram. Ram pin bypass. Viper, no bypass. Sorry, we've got one for Japan. Looks like Japan only has the Viper. And South America now, down the bottom. We have one for Middle East. They have Grand Caravan. And that's all there was on that page. I'll scroll down just to make sure. A long page. Okay, let's go by system now. Okay. I'll also put the model of the car on the screen somewhere as well. That'll also help for when you're flicking through to find the one you're after. Even I flick through some of my own videos because there's been a few times, did it have that, did it not? It's easier to flick through the video than actually power up the machine sometimes. Rather than go to the machine and pull it out of the car, it's easier just to flick through and see what it had. So now we're on to pin reading for the Dodge. And there's a lot of systems in there. That looks like it's all the immobilizer out of the way. Now we're onto the remotes. Oh, not again. Dodge Remote Type 2 Blade. Dodge Remote Type 2 Blade. Repin. Remote Type 2 Blade. So we're up to there. It looks like it goes down to Type 9. I think that's it. That's it. Dodge out of the way. Dongfeng. Dongfeng. Never heard of it. Looks like it exists in Asia and South America. And there's only 3 models there. A60 to H30 and one type of immobilizer. That's another thing, there's no Lamborghini or Ferrari on this. Well, not that I've seen so far. FAW, never heard of it. Never heard of it. Looks like there's only one. There's only one immobilizer type. Fiat. Looks like that's a popular car in Asia. In Australia, it looks like we have a few models there. There's a few getting around on the road, very sporty little coupes. Actually, they make also motorhomes too. There's been some good talk about the motorhomes and what they've been doing with it on the commercial chassis. Now we're moving over into Europe. Still in Europe. Still in Europe. Looks like it's a popular little car. Geez, they've got a lot in Europe. Still in Europe. Moving down to US and Canada now. South America. South America. Down the bottom of the page, Middle East. And last down the bottom is India and Africa. I only have 2 models, if you can see them. Okay, mobiliser systems. Now these are not in order for some reason, so I don't think it's me flicking too fast, they're just not in order. But you're pretty safe bet if it says 11, you can guess that it'd have the ones before that too. Pin code reading now. No, don't do that. Mobiliser, we're on to pin code reading. We're here, we'll have to start that again. Pin code reading. Remote down the bottom. I think that's all we got. Okay, that's Fiat. Okay, Ford. This was one of the reasons I actually bought this machine, is because Ford on the other machines that I had didn't even have the Australian models. They might have 1 or 2 models that are used here and other places, but sometimes they can use different systems. They can have different emissions, different computers, different who knows what. The door locks might be the same, but you just don't know. That's why I went with this particular machine, because I know for these particular Fords, and there's quite a few of them in Australia, I guess it's like Fiat for the Europeans. It's popular, and you need a machine that's specific, especially the BA and the BFs. You need a machine that can do that. FG, FGX, FG Mark 1. See, they mean something in this country, but in other countries, when they're building key programmers, they might not have access to those type of cars to be able to nut it out. That's why this machine is kind of different in that regard. You can do your local cars with it. That's the whole point of this particular video, is to show you exactly what cars are in it, so you can get a bit of an idea on whether or not it's got your local market in it, and it's got the cars that you need. For me, I'll probably only use it on these particular cars that are unique to our market. I'll use another programmer if not. For the other ones, it's cheaper. But that's another video, that's another story. Just for now, we're just looking over what we have on this machine. And we're still in Australia, so very much like Cadillac in the US or whatnot. Ford is something we have a lot of. These are all Australian. And now we're finally down to Europe with the C-Max. Courier. We have Ford Courier too. Escort. Jennifer Steva. We're still in Europe. So Ford is a pretty big brand. Probably Europe and US is going to be quite a lot in there as well. No. Okay. Ford Focus Europe 2015. Let's get back there. Ford Focus Europe 2015. Here we are. So we're about there. So it's good to know what's actually on this machine. You might be able to compare it to your machine and see if you're getting the same amount. I know with Instacode there is differences in the software. They say it's all the same, but many people say there's many differences. In some you get everything, some you don't. So it'll be interesting to know, does this machine have all the other software? Does it have all the software? I mean, if you were to purchase this machine in the US, would it have all the Australian software? Be interesting. You probably have to go through your supplier for that region of where you bought the machine to get more tokens, which can be very annoying. You won't be able to get local tech support, which is once again very annoying, but you might be able to save $1. We are still in Europe. I wish I had an auto page feeder at times like this, just to move the page up slowly. But unfortunately you wouldn't be able to get a focus on the words and be able to read it. So unfortunately this looks like the easiest way to do it. Give you a few seconds to actually read, see if your make or model that you're looking for is there, and then moving up. No. Ford S-Max Europe 2015. Ford S-Max Europe 2015. Okay. Ford Europe S-Max. Here we go. Ford Europe S-Max 2015. I hate it when the button gets pushed. I'm getting there. We're still in Europe. Now we're in the US. US and Canada. Still US and Canada. Up to the F-150. Good trucks, we have a few of them. 250's nicer, bigger. 550 even better. We've got the 650, I've got 350 coming up. 350, oh no, 650. One that looks like a tank. Still US. Okay, that's Ford. Okay, so I'm just starting back off. Had to take a break there and grab a beer. So I'm starting back off at Ford US, back at the C-Max. So we've done the other Fords, basically because Ford's a really important one, and US there's a lot of Fords, and we kind of ran out of memory on the memory card there. So I thought, we'll start back and do. I know we went all the way to Mustang before for US, but we'll go through them all again, just a couple of them. We've got plenty of memory this time, so we should be able to see all the menus. Ford is one of those ones where they're very popular in a lot of different countries. And Ford is one of the reasons that, yeah, I went with this tool, because it's localized. So this is still US and Canada. Back to the F-150s. Yeah, I once opened up an F-150 Harley Davidson model at a service station. The bloke locked his keys in, had the lights on, opened it up for him. He reached in, turned the lights off, and locked it straight back up again with the keys inside. So we had to do it all over again. But no, not this again. For Canada, Ford Focus Canada 2006. This is such a big menu too. Don't worry, be there in a second. We're about there. Ford Focus. Ford Focus US. Down to Ford Fusion. Down to Fusion Sports. GT. Now we're into the Mustangs. Very popular in Australia. A lot of people buying these new Mustangs. Very nice car. Very loud. A lot of people buying them. Hate that. Ford Terios US 2010. Now we've got to scroll all the way down again. Why does it keep doing this to me? Just trying to show you the menu. It's just making it hard. We're just past Mustang. Fusion. Okay, that's the Mustangs. One more time. Ranger down to Terios. materials. Down to US Transit. Down to Edge, South America, down to Edge. South America, down to Focus. KA, Transit Custom. Middle East, Mustang. India has EcoSport. India has a Festia, however you say that. Africa has some as well. I wonder how many Fords they have. Looks like they've got quite a few there. Oh, not again. Okay, where are we? Ford Escort Brazil. Don't know why it keeps doing that. Ford Escort Brazil. Has to be the biggest menu that it does that on. Okay, oh, Brazil. Okay, let's just do Brazil again. Now I'm only scrolling up page by page, so if it looks like I'm going further than I am, I'm actually not. And I think we're down the bottom there. Ah, finally. Okay, so a lot of Ford in this machine. Let's go through the immobilizers. These are not region Pacific. These are not Pacific regions. These are just the types. Still an immobilizer. And it did it again. Go back. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8, page 9, page 10, page 11, page 12. Now we're down to immobilizer, pin read proximity, page 13. Proximity, all the different types. 14. USA 20 digit proximity, type 1, type 2. Remote. Special functions. That might be interesting. Okay, we're down the bottom now. HEC, network tests, parameters, reset, VIN check. Okay, that's Ford. Thank God that's over. That went forever. Genesis. They're the models. US, Canada. And there's only one type 3. That wasn't as painful. GMC, that's going to be a big one. Okay, starting off for US. Okay, wasn't as big as I thought. Okay, here we go. Functions, force ignition immobilizer. Immobilizer type 1, type 10, type 13. Get into a bit of a read pin here. Read pin from the engine size. So basically identifying the car by the engine size, read pin. Don't know if that works, but I'll have to try it one day. 1.4 litre GMC read pin. Very handy. Without the pin, can't program. There's a lot of types there. Very similar to the Chevrolet. Looks like it goes up to type 21. Be interesting to know if anybody knows if they're using the same systems. I wouldn't expect them to be, but okay, it's GMC. Great Wall, Asia. We do have them here, as you can see. We've got a few models of Great Wall, not a lot. Japan, Middle East now. Middle East has some. China. China's down the bottom, and that they've got 4 models. Okay, they're the immobiliser types by system for Great Wall. Okay, Holden. We know it as Holden. Some other people know it as GM. Some other people Vauxhall, or there's so many different. They brand it all different things. So here's all the Australian models here. See, a lot of these things we call it Barina. Other places they call it something else. Caprice. But Holden Commodores are what are unique to Australia. I mean, they do have the PTO, I think it is, or they do have different versions overseas, but we have quite a lot of them. We have, like for the Commodores, we have so many different models, and I know a lot of the machines that we get from overseas don't have all of those type of unique models. And that's one of the reasons why it's important to have a machine that has the local models on it. One of the new ones there is some of my other machines, they had a VT, but it wouldn't have a VE or a VF. So this one, as you see, has the complete range. Even has VX Mark II, which obviously must be different to VX. Oop, did we just go too far? We did. Commodore, there we are. So yeah, there's the VX, VX2, Commodore Cruise. Down to the Cruisers there, and down to the Jaguar. These are all Australian by the look of it. All Australian models. Now, most likely I could have used, you could probably use different systems from different cars from across the world, but the idea is if you don't know what the different make and model is, which is the same car, same chassis, just rebranded right-hand drive, it's very hard. So that's why it's good when it says it's an Australian and it's this model, because we call the brand something else and we call the model something else, but it's probably the same car as you're working on over in a different country, just called a different thing. And that is all of them, and they're all Holden is basically for Australia. Now these CAN systems, what I'm saying is they're probably current throughout different makes as well. They're probably used on different things. But it's very hard to go by the make and model and know which make and model is actually going to suit you. With these ones, GM, Suzuki 1, Renault 1. These are all used for Holden cars. Read pin, Astra, engine. Oh, we've got radio there. That's interesting. Read pin radio. Probably try that one. Read pin. Now we go down to proximity and remote. Special function. And that's it. That's Holden by system. Honda. Okay, starting off in Asia. So they have a lot of Honda. Jazz, Odyssey. We've got all these. Don't have that one. Cord. Okay, there we go. Now we're in Australia. Still in Australia, CRV, HRV. Still in Australia, Jazz. Odyssey. Now we're in Europe, Cord. Europe City, Europe Civic. Europe CRV, CRZ, HRV, Insight, Jazz, Legend. Looks like they have a number of cars that we have and everybody else has. US, so they have the Accord 2, Civic. Still US, Canada. Honda Pilot, never heard of it. Pro you'd have. Canada, Honda Civic. Civic, CRV, Odyssey, Pilot. Now South America. Now Middle East, we just missed there. Middle East I only see one, CRV, Middle East, oh sorry, CRV and the Jazz. India has a couple there. They're all the Indian ones. It's all the Indian ones there. Looks like they like their Hondas too. And then we're moving down to Africa now. Africa's got quite a few. Over to Brazil. Okay, then let's look at the system by system. Type 2B, 2C, 3. That's all the systems we've got under Honda. Back we go. Hummer. This will probably just be the H3 model, the GM model I'd say. Okay, so there we have Asia, H3. Oh, they've even got a H2 in there. I didn't think they had a transponder. So a couple of, mainly H3, a couple of H2s in there. There's all the system types that Hummer's using. Geez, there's a lot of them. So So from what I can tell there, looks like everything from 1 all the way up to about 16 different systems. Hyundai, here we go. It's another popular one. Asia. No, don't open up. Lucky we're on the first bit. Okay, so now we've moved into it from Asia to Australia. Got the Getz, i20, i30s, i40s, iLoad, Type 1, Type 2. That goes all the way up to 2017. That's pretty good. iMax is there up to 2015. The Santa Fe in there, up 2012. That's one thing I noticed. Sometimes you do need different plugs. I think plugs are going to be extra. Like for the Hyundai, I had to buy a special one to program in the remote control. So it looks like you might actually have to buy that one, like an additional plug. Because it only comes with the ODB plug, this machine. OBD. Now we're in Europe, Hyundai. Still in Europe. Here it gets Type 1, Type 2, H1, H1 truck, H100 truck. Haven't seen that. Yeah, we're still in Europe. Going through the i20s, i30s, iLoads, iMax. Actually, there's no iMax there. Santa Fe. Still in Europe. Tucson. Still in Europe. Looks like there's quite a bit of Hyundai in Europe. We're now starting on the US. There's no page scrolly thing here, so I don't know how long this goes for. I guess the more popular the car, the longer this menu will go for. So we're still in US, Canada, Hyundai. Definitely given this battery a good workout. Charged it up completely. Definitely given a good workout going over all the menus. Remember, they will be categorized under... Oh, sorry, they'll be labelled with the time, so you don't need to watch all of it. You just skip to what you need. In the Middle East, looks like they like their Hyundais too. Still in Hyundai, Middle East. Geez, I've got a lot. Out of all the cars, I can say that Hyundai seems to be the one that Middle East have most of. So far. Honda and Ford seem very popular. So's Hyundai. Definitely a lot of Hyundai in the Middle East. Okay, India. Let's see how India is going for Hyundai. Looks like they've got a few of them. Not that many. What about Africa? Not that many. And there's one USA right down the bottom there. Don't know why that wasn't in the USA, like America menu, America and Canada. Right, so there we go. Immobilizer by system. Kia Can, Hyundai, Kia. It looks like some Hyundais might have a Kia immobilizer. Read via OBD pin code, VIN to PIN. Okay, so it does have that. I wonder what year model that goes up to, because that was the thing. They chopped it off around, I forget, 2007 or something. So VIN to PIN, I wonder how far that goes. I have to look into that at a later stage. Type 10 Euro. Remote. Type 3 10 pin. There we go. It's Hyundai. Infiniti, also known as Nissan. Well, not really Nissan, but it's a branch of the brand. So we've got a few there in Australia, a few in Europe. A few of US. Actually, a lot of US. I think we were down the bottom anyway. Australia. I think we're about there. Oh, why does it keep doing that? Very sensitive. Hopefully we picked up about the right spot. Okay, and a couple of China down the bottom. Systems. Proximity slot. That's all the systems. That is Infiniti. Isuzu. Starting off in Australia, we've only got 3. Europe seems to have more. Now move into US and Canada. That seems to be all of it. Let's look at the systems. Not many systems there. Wouldn't it be nice if everything was so simple and only had 3 or 4 systems? So Isuzu, Iveco. Okay, in Australia, yep, we've got the dailies in there. Okay, Europe, got the dailies too. Okay, looks like that's all we got. Australia, Europe, Iveco system. Come on, there we go. Mobilizer, type 1 read, pin, and type 1 remote. Hopefully they'll add type 2 in there too. Jaguar. So it doesn't look like there's any Australia Jaguar in there, just Asia, Europe. Ooh, lots of Europe. Well, I guess this is a UK machine, so they would definitely have all their European sort of cars, like Jaguar and stuff, if they're in the UK. They should have more, every one of them, because they'd be local to them. There are all the systems. And that's all the Jaguar we got. Jeep. Gone too far. Let's go back. Australia, page 1. Page 2, still Australia. Page 3, still Australia. Now into Europe. Jeep Commander sounds exciting. Grand Cherokee. Into US. That's it for Jeep. Let's look at the systems. A lot of systems in there. Okay, we're down to remote. And that's it. That's all the Jeep we got, which is quite a bit. Kia. I get the feeling it's going to be a big one. Just leaving Australia and over to Europe. Still in Europe. Still in Europe. Looks like Europe has a lot of Kia. Now moving over to US and America. Why did it have to do that? So that was US, Canada, Kia, Ford. We just started US, so let's go back and start US again. Come on, US. Alright. It's a lot of Europe there. Okay, we're starting US now. So I must say this machine definitely has a very comprehensive selection. There's a lot of cars in here. On the instructions it says over 5,000, and you know, by make and model I think they're right, and they're constantly adding to it. This feedback button that this machine has is also a very good thing, because if something's missing or something's broken, it allows you to inform them rather than going through their forum or their website. Doing it on the tablet's a really big advantage. Now we're just in Canada. What happened to the US? Maybe they've got different Kias in Canada than the US. Don't see how, but now South America, obviously they might even have something different there as well. Middle East, Africa, a couple of US down the bottom. Okay, let's go over all the systems. Blue, green, Hyundai Can, top 1, top 2, top 5. Hyundai 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9. Can system type 1, 2, 3, 4. Kia type 1, well, 1, 10, 11, 12, 13. Pin code reading via OBD. Pin code VIN to pin. Proximity. Remote. Okay, that's Kia. Lancia. No Australian ones here. Mainly Europe. And that's all there is. By systems. Not many there either. Okay, that's Lancia. Land Rover. Okay, we've got an Asia one up the top. A lot of Australia. Now into Europe. South America, Middle East down the bottom, Africa. By system. Type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, EMO, and then we've got the proxy 1, REM1, REM2, and that's all there is. And the remote down the bottom. It's Land Rover. LDV, that new company. Yeah, a salesperson called me, wanted me to buy an LDV van. I said, oh, but it's new and we only just got them, and what am I going to do if I need parts? And they were saying, oh, we just order this in and that in, but still didn't go with it. But since that time, I've seen more and more on the road of these vans, coming in at a very cheap price too. So that was the cars, that's the systems. It's got a Nats. I wonder if they borrowed that from Nissan. Possibly. So that's LDV. Lexus. Oh, kind of like a Toyota. Lots of Lexus in Australia. Like 3 pages of Australian Lexus there, hybrids and all. Very luxurious cars. Europe. Last time I worked on a Lexus, a person called me out, said there's something wrong with the ignition. When I got there, it was a steering lock. He had the steering lock on nice and hard, put the key in and turned it, and he could feel it all the way down through his key, and he's thinking, what's wrong here? It just took a little bit of grabbing the steering wheel, pulling it the other direction, and it worked nicely after that. Basically just had the steering lock on nice and tight. Standard feature of the car. But I did like it how I put the key in and everything starts adjusting. The mirrors and all that start adjusting. Seat adjusted. Right, so here's the by systems. Immobilizer, type 1, type 2, proximity, remote. That's Lexus. Oh, Lincoln. It's a US based car. We don't see these over here. Might have seen 1 or 2 that's been imported. Okay, let's look at the systems. Some special functions down the bottom there. Okay, Lincoln. I think that's how you say it. Maserati. We do have these here. I don't see any Australia. I see a lot of US and Canada. I don't see any Australia. Let's try by system. Read, pin, proximity, immobilizer. That's all there is for... There wasn't any Australia there. I do see these around all the time, and they're sports cars, 4-door, and then the 4-wheel drive model. Alright, Mazda. Let's go. So here we go, we're into Australia now. Started off at Asia, into Australia. Definitely a brand I've seen a lot more of in the last 10 years, Mazda. A lot more of them on the road. About 3 or 4 pages in Australia for Mazda. Europe will probably have the same. Still in Europe. US now. Still US. Africa. And that's all of them. Moving over now to system types. And I believe since we're on Mazda, I'm pretty sure you can copy the 8C on a few different tools now. I'm not sure if you can do anything on this tool. I know you can't do it on the RW4 yet. Okay, that's Mazda. Okay, now for the big one. Mercedes. What Mercedes can it do? Okay, we got Sprinter, Vito, Sprinter, Europe. Doesn't mention anything about Australian models, but that's quite interesting anyway. Click to the system. Okay, so there's our systems 1, 2, and 3. It's pretty cool. There's the Mercedes it can do. Okay, Mercury. So Mercury's not a brand we have over in Australia, but there are a lot of people in the US who watch this channel. So we're going to go through each and every last one of them. 5,000 cars on this system, and we're going to look at each and every one of them. Because they might not be good for me, they might not be good for locally, but there are people around in US and Canada and other places around the world who would like to know whether or not their systems are actually on this machine. I guess it would help you make a decision if you're going to purchase this machine or not. Buy it from your local dealer, buy it on eBay. You didn't hear that from me, but if you buy it on eBay, you're not going to get the support, and you need to get those tokens with a machine like this and those updates and things along those lines. And it looks like there's always adapters you can buy with for a machine like this. Plenty of adapters. Some special functions listed down the bottom there. Okay, that's Mercury. MG. Nice little sporty cars. Mainly Europe based by the look of it. That's it. So we've got systems. Some special functions down the bottom. Ah, one of them have EWS. I wonder if that's a BMW thing. EWS 3. Interesting. Mini. Also BMW Mini. Many different versions there. Mainly Europe there so far. Recently owned a Mini Cooper S. It was a nice car. One of the newer ones. BMW make. Bucket seats, hard to get into. Did like the older Mini. Okay, there we are, CAS. EWS 3 for the remote, Lucas, Type 1, Type 2. I tried to program in a remote, couldn't do it, didn't have the code. You actually got to get the code when you buy the remote. Okay, Mitsubishi. Asia. No, don't do that. Okay, so I'll start again. Mitsubishi. Scroll. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. We're into Australia. Be interesting to see what pin codes, what options for pin codes are under the system menu. Quite a few for Australia. We're into Europe now. Looks like Europe has quite a lot of Mitsubishis too. US. So there's over 5,000 cars on this machine. And we're pretty much looking over all of them. 5,000 different makes and models. It's quite a database. UAE, don't know what that stands for. United Emirates. If you know what UAE stands for, leave it in the comments down below, please. And the other one is NZL. Was that New Zealand? I just don't know. America? South America, sorry. Middle East. Probably the most I've seen for Middle East. They must have a lot of Mitsubishis. And Africa. There's quite a number of them there too. Systems. Still on immobiliser systems, so many of them. 21, 23. Oh, geez. 27, 29. 29 different immobiliser systems. And then, oh, here we go, 31, 32, 34. Pin code read. Manual pin, can, type, proximity, remote type 1. That's all we have. Mitsubishi, Nissan. Starting off with Asia. Still Asia. Still Asia. Now to Australia. 3 pages of Asia. Nissans are popular over there. Three pages of Nissan Australia. Nissans are fairly popular here. There's a lot of imported ones especially. A lot of people like those imported ones. I mean, I must admit, a little bit more luxurious. They drive good. Geez, there's a lot of Nissan in Australia. Okay, here we go. Nissan Europe. I reckon there'd be just as many over there. Auto blade, proximity, electric. Still Europe. Still Europe. Looks like Europe has more Nissans than most. Thought Australia had quite a lot there. Now moving on to US. Still Nissan US. Moving on to Japan and South America. Looks like Japan only has the Elgrand. So it's going to be interesting to see after this look at the systems and see what type of pin code reading it's going to be doing for these ones. Will it read the BCM? Will it have the 4-pin, the 20-pin? Africa? NZL? And that's it. Let's go by system now and let's have a quick look. 12-digit type 1, 20-digit USA. Mobilizer, NATS 5. Pin converter, up to 09, up to 09L. So it does have the pin converter. Proximity. That's what we've got on the Nissan. Look, went too far. Okay, so it's Nissan Oldsmobile. Not many there. They've got more systems than cars listed. The remotes look like they've got a system for every different one. 20 different versions of the remote to program. Interesting. Up to Opel. Okay, now on to old Opel. So we've got combo van in there and all the rest, starting off at Asia, moving down to Europe. Still Europe. There's a lot of different cars in this thing. Still in Europe. Looks like they like their Opels. Bit of Middle East now, and down to Africa. And that's it. Let's look at the systems. Force ignition, immobilizer. Changan type 1 to 9. We've got some GM, Renault, Suzuki types in there under Opel. Under Vauxhall / Opel. And we've got this reed pin thing going again with the engine size. More reed pin there. Even radio, reed pin radio. I wonder which Opels that will work on. These are all the remote settings for Opel. And some special functions down the bottom. That's Opel. Go to this one. Priadura. Never heard of it. Looks like it's only in Europe. There's only one type. Renault. Pregoit. Some Australian models there. Some European models. All European. Yeah, if I was in Europe, I'd definitely have one of these machines because it seems to be able to do quite a lot of European cars. South America. Africa and South Africa down the bottom, and that's the bottom of the page. Moving over to system. All the immobilizer systems. BCM AFL Type 1, BCM AFL Type 2, BCI PSA, read pin by OBD, special functions, read CAN, so radio CAN, radio ISO, so there's quite a few there. That's Renault. Plymouth, that's one we don't have. US and Canada only by the look of it. Ooh, we've got more systems listed than we do cars. Immobilizer down to remote. And that's it. So immobiliser up the top, got a few different types. Reed pin is there as well. Okay, it's Plymouth. Pontiac. Big in the US, not so much in Australia. That's the bottom of the menu. Immobiliser systems, Toy 4, Type 1, Type 2. And that's the bottom. So that's Pontiac. Porsche. So we've got a few Porsches there. Well, actually really only one model. And only the petrol model by the look of it. Reed pin Type 1, immobiliser Type 1. Looks like that's the only one you can do. Proton. And that's as far as it goes. We've only really got Europe, and up the top we've got Australia. Let's look at the system. With the immobiliser systems. Okay, that's Proton.Renault. Asia, Australia. Now we're into Europe. Still Europe. Whoa, went too far there. Back to the bottom of Europe. Starting to merge into South America now. And that's it. Couple of India, couple of Africa down the bottom. Okay. Immobiliser 4-digit, immobiliser 8-digit, card type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Twist, blade, type 1, type 10, type 4, type 11. Proximity, card push button. And remote blips, blade. And that's it for Renault. Rover. Starting off there in Europe. And it looks like it finishes there in Europe. So that's all there is. Systems. EWS, EWS3. That's all there is for systems. Okay, Saab. Starting off at Asia, we've got a few there, about 4 for Australia, 4 for Europe down the bottom of the page. Another couple for Europe, now moving over into US and Canada. And that's all there is. Systems. 1 page of systems. That's for Saab. Samsung? Never heard of it. Looks like they've got it in Asia, in Europe. And that looks like all the models there. There's the immobilizer. Samsung. Yeah. Never heard of it. Saturn, another one I've never heard of. US and Canada. And there's only 1 real page of that. Systems, Saturn. So there's more systems than there is models. Well, if you can't find the model, at least you've got plenty of systems to choose from, which might get a lot of people out of trouble. And that's all the systems under Saturn. Moving on. Scion? Scion? Never seen it. It's a US one. If you know how to pronounce it, or if I'm pronouncing it wrong, forgive me. I've never heard of it, never seen it, know nothing about this particular model, this type of car. It's only 2 page and a half there, so just have a quick look. I'll scroll down again. Okay, let's check out the systems. Okay, that's that one done. Seat. We do have these in Australia. I would have thought we'd have more than 1 model, but it's only showing 1 model for Australia, 1 model for Asia. Europe showing most of the models in this particular one. Looks like they have plenty of them. Page and a half so far. Two pages. Couple of models there in South America, 1 in Africa, and that's all there is. Okay, immobilizer. There's just so many different systems and different cars here. I wonder if anybody's ever done the majority of these cars. Like read pin there, we've got 4 different ways to read pin for different models. Still reading pin. A lot of reading pin, which is good when you identify what system you got. You should be able to read the pin. Even more reed pin. There's more reed pin than there is actual car models. Some special functions down there: auto glove box, auto ABS coating, VAG recoating, ECU, VAG SRS. Okay, so that's seat. Skoda. And that's it. Let's check out the models, all the systems. This just keeps going on forever. Okay, still reading pin. Some special functions down the bottom. That looks like the bottom of the list. Okay, on to Smart. So we've got 4 models there from Australia, and we're into Europe. And that's all there is. Africa down the bottom, South America. So Europe has the most. Systems. There you go, system type. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's Smart. Changan. I'm saying that wrong as well. So it looks like we got a full page of that type of car in Australia. I believe they were a Mercedes type of platform. Not as popular as Mercedes. Europe has them as well. That's all there is on that one. Systems. Only 3 systems. Petrol, diesel, or XDI. Okay, Subaru. So the first page is all Asia. the bottom we've got a couple of Australian ones moving up. They're all Australian. Looks like, yeah, we've got a few pages of Australian Subarus. A lot of Liberties there, Outbacks. Moving over into Europe now. Still in Europe. Now moving over to US. And that's all there is. Africa and USA down the bottom. Systems. And that's all there is. Scroll up one more time just for another quick look. And that's Subaru. Suzuki. So the first page is all Asia. Moving on to Australia. Still Australia. Oh, Europe's down the bottom there, 3 of Europe. We're in Europe now. Still in Europe. Still in Europe. A lot of Suzuki Swift over in Europe. Still in Europe. South America now. Middle East. And moving over to India. Looks like India has quite a few Suzukis. Couple of Africa down the bottom. 4 or 5 there for Africa. And a couple of NZL down right down the bottom. Okay, let's go over the systems. Mobilizer CAN 2012, 2015. And that's all there is. Suzuki. Okay, let's go Tata. Oh, no models. What about systems? Okay, so we have a couple of systems. That was the quickest one ever. Toyota. We're in Asia. Still in Asia. Okay, Australia now. Still in Australia. Still in Australia. Certainly like our Toyotas. We're in Europe now. Still in Europe. Okay, starting off on US and Canada down the bottom. I'm guessing they're going to have about 5-6 pages too. Still US. Just had to swap the battery then, so hopefully we're about the same spot. So we're in Toyota US. Now moving over to South America. Now moving over to the Middle East there, and India down the bottom. Africa. See more Toyotas on this list for Africa than I have for any other model. NZL down the bottom. And that's all by models. Let's just go by systems. That's all the systems. Special function down the bottom, ABS. Not as many systems as I would have thought, considering how big the list was. Vauxhall. Combo van. So this might be the same as Opel. Went too far there. Start again. Europe. Still in Europe. That's bottom of the list. Go by system. A lot of reed pin there. And that's the bottom. Down the bottom with the special functions. Okay, Volkswagen. Australia. Caddy, Golf, Multivan, Jetta, Passata, I don't know. We're in Europe now. Still in Europe. Moving on down to America. America and Canada. South America now. Bottom of South America and India, and a little bit of Africa down the bottom. That looks like that's all there is. Systems. Pin reading. It's a lot of systems. Some special functions down the bottom. And that's Volkswagen. Last one on the menu, Volvo. And down in South America down the bottom, and that's all there is for Volvo. Systems. Oh, no systems. Okay, so that concludes looking over all the menus in the Advanced Diagnostic Smart Pro Programmer. Looking all the way from the start, all the way down the bottom. Remember, I will categorize them into the actual time, so you don't have to watch it all, and that might speed things up. If this video helped you and you found out more about the systems, or you found out that this, what this system does have or doesn't have, please give it a thumbs up. And yeah, leave your comments down below. Hopefully you didn't fall asleep. There is a lot of systems, so just jump to what you need. But at least now you can pretty much know what's under each and every category here, because we've gone through all of them. So at least that way, there's about 5,000 different vehicles in this one here. When you have your machine as well, remember that you can simply just select your own region, and then when you go to particular ones, you're not going to get as much as the stuff that we did. There you go, a list of 4 make a big difference, so you don't have to spend your time scrolling through. The reason we scroll through is so that we can show all the people around different countries, everywhere, who's thinking about this type of machine, what it's actually got. It's also good to have an idea to know if you were to buy one or get one second hand later on, will it have that type of software? And this particular unit here has all that software. This is one we bought from an Australian reseller, so I'm not sure about ones from around other parts of the world, but at least it gives us something to compare with. Okay, thanks for watching.